I want you to look at, I wonder if I've got it there, yield and how you decide to define yield, whether it's gross yield or net yield. Okay, have we got it here? No? Forgive me. I want you to look at basic profit. So right now for you, profit's super important. I want you to look at cost of capital divided by rent. So in the early days, you're going to look at profit and go, how much cash do I make? Later on, you're going to look at the cost of capital divided by rent times 100. So what is the cost of capital, i.e. your interest cost divided by your rent? What's your proportion? And again, that's one of those equations you can measure apples with apples. Later on, as a landlord, you're going to look at that equation. In your first 5 years, honestly, don't give a stuff. This is a second tier equation. I introduce it to you so you can see it. So first tier, second tier. Asset value, first tier. I know how much I'm worth. I really don't care. But I did care in the early days. Oh my God, I used to look at that spreadsheet. You know, and even more exciting. Well, in fact, I didn't notice when I became a multimillionaire. It was only 3.5 years in. 3.5 years in. And I told you, you know the story, so I'm sorry. But it was driving round a roundabout, St. Paul's roundabout. I drove around, I think, something like 8 times because listening to Radio 4, something about house prices. I did a quick calculation in my head and went, Jesus, I'm a multimillionaire. And I had the shittiest car you've ever seen in your life, tied up with string. You know, it was worth less than 400 quid. And I drove around that roundabout 8 times, I think, because I was so astonished that I was a multimillionaire because I was so busy. Now, you lords would have known that to the penny. I appreciate. I didn't. Loan to value. In the early days, so what you're going to want in the early days is probably yield, profit. Your ego is going to love this because you haven't had it before. Now I don't care. A loan to value. I'm very interested in that now. That's a huge target for me and I want to push it down as low as possible. In the early days, you're probably going to be going 85, you know, might even hit up to 85%. It's terrifying because if interest rate goes the wrong way, but it is a growth period. And then I want you to push it down to 75, 70, 60, 55, etc. This is a second tier equation. You might not even want to do that in the case study right now. Age plus loan to value minus 100. So where is he? Man, you're just so lucky. Some of us, you are younger than both of my children. Some of us, and I have a very dear friend who has not reduced down their portfolio and can no longer get mortgages and is currently being repossessed by the bank because they forgot to work this out. They're in retirement age, and age plus loan to value less than 100. So let's say you're 40, age plus loan to value, that means you really should be looking at 60% loan to value. But Suze, so for you, because I want to keep you safe, I want to get you wealthy and safe, what does that mean? That means that we probably want to increase the number of buy to sells to chuck more cash in to the buy to keep. So for you, not that I'm advising you to take crazy risks, but mate, you've got so much time, you could take some crazy risks. Where Alison, you're a little bit, you're a little bit older than there, you want to be going, well, how do I generate more cash generating strategies to keep that loan to value down? That is, take risks, you know.
Can't we have that friend of yours?
Say again?
I'm thinking, can't we have that friend of yours get really
I've tried for 2 years. I've tried for 2 years, and in the end, I just go to bed sad. And then, what's your annual rent increase? Turnover? Well, that's kind of ego, isn't it? But you want to check, is your turnover increasing every year? If not, what's happening with voids? And KPIs, key performance indicators. What's your repair cost and what's your management cost? Those are the types of things that either in the early days or later on you're going to be analysing as portfolio. Anybody want to add anything in that I've missed out? I'm looking at you. Yeah.
I don't go that in depth.